Welcome to Feature Fridays. My name is Guy Bartram. I'm the Director of Product Marketing for our cloud providers in Vmware. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Nicola. Welcome, Nicola. Thank you for joining today. And why don't you just introduce yourself, tell people who you do, what's your role in Vmware and what your responsibilities are.
Yes, thanks, Guy. Happy to be here. So my title is Director of Sustainability Innovation at Vmware in the Office of the CTO. And I have kind of two responsibilities. One is to help customers decarbonize their digital operations or cloud operations using VMware solutions. And then the second piece is how do we actually drive more decarbonization through innovations in our solutions.
Great. Well, this is what we're here to talk about today, right? Sustainability and renewable energy and some of the news about some new training that we have, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But let's just take it from the top. Do you want to kind of cover what is VMware's position on sustainability and what commitments have we made to, like you said, right, customers and partners and our supply chain? You know, where do we sit in terms of the sustainability message?
Yeah, so VMware has a very long legacy of sustainability. So if you even think about our core virtualization technologies, we were founded back in 1998, and VMware effectively created a technology that allowed customers to run multiple applications on a single physical server. So before VMware's technology came along, you needed one physical server for every application you wanted to use in the enterprise environment. And of course, that took a lot. So if you had 1,000 applications, you needed 1,000 servers. And it was very inefficient because most of the time those servers weren't busy. They could handle more workloads, but they weren't designed to. There were performance issues if you tried to run more than one application on a server. And with VMware's virtualization technology, we were able to hack the x86 architecture, and we were able to help customers run multiple applications on a single physical server such that they didn't experience any performance issues. So now instead of using 1,000 servers for 1,000 applications, maybe you only needed 100 or 50 servers. So you can imagine not only the cost savings of not having to buy those servers, those extra servers, and run them in your data center, but also the energy and carbon emissions associated with that, and a reduction in kind of material consumption of not having to build those servers in the first place and that data center infrastructure in the first place. So we've had this long history from our foundation. And in 2015, we launched an intentional sustainability program, not only around our solutions, but also around our own operations, our offices and our data centers, to try to reduce the environmental impact of those operations. So that is mainly around efficiency and carbon emission reduction, renewable energy, et cetera. And then in 2020, we launched our 2030 agenda with a vision that we will have outcomes with 30 goals in those 10 years, with outcomes in sustainability, trust, and equity. And on the sustainability front, we really wanted to focus not only on our own operations, but also that of our customers through our solutions. So we have three sort of themes that we're tackling in that area. One is around carbon transparency. So it's helping customers understand what is their carbon footprint of their cloud operations. So we feel that we're very well positioned. We're sitting in the customer data centers, in the cloud operations, and we can see how much carbon, what the carbon footprint is of those operations. And we believe that once you have the data, once you have the measurement of those cloud operations, then that can inform where there are opportunities to reduce those carbon emissions. So that leads into the second goal, which is around workload carbon efficiency. So how can we help customers run that infrastructure more productively, more efficiently, and renewable energy powered, such that it can reduce the energy and carbon emissions. Also, a lot of times that's saving the customer a lot of money because they're using less infrastructure. They're using existing infrastructure more productively. And then the third goal is around what we call zero carbon clouds. And that's a recognition that VMware's value chain footprint is not only in our software that our customers run in their own infrastructure, but in our public cloud ecosystem. So you can imagine we have over 4,000 partners running public clouds, co-location data centers that our customers are using because it gives them a seamless transition from on-premise into the public cloud on the VMware platform. And we recognize that there's an enormous opportunity to renewable energy power that infrastructure. So you can imagine customers going from some carbon footprint of running their workloads on premise into a public cloud operation that is zero carbon cloud through energy efficiency, through VMware solutions, and also renewable energy powered data centers. So we're very excited about that third goal, because that involves our public cloud partners.
Yeah, and I mean, it was actually something that Raghu brought to the keynote for VMware Explore this year in San Francisco, right? I mean, I was really pleased to see that Zero Carbon Clouds was featured in the keynote. It's super important for our partners to start looking at how they become more sustainable, and we're seeing more of the supply chain, more mandates coming from government, more incentives coming from governments as well to strive for renewable energy and hitting targets. Some countries 2030, some countries 2050, but nevertheless, it's all heading in the right direction. So zero carbon clouds, let's talk about that for a second. What does it actually mean, Nicola? What does a provider have to do to become a zero carbon cloud partner?
Yeah, so let's first talk about what a zero carbon cloud partner is. So along the lines of recognizing that there's a strong demand in our customer base for zero carbon cloud operations, we started the Zero Carbon Committed initiative in May of 2021, so over a year ago, with a vision of partnering for a sustainable future with our public cloud partner ecosystem. The idea is to connect our partners to public cloud providers that have aligned sustainability goals. Sorry, connecting our customers,
our customers.
Customers, yes, to public cloud, our public cloud partners who have aligned sustainability goals around decarbonized operations. And our vision is that by 2030, all of our VMware public clouds will be zero carbon through energy efficient operations and 100% renewable energy powered data centers. And so we have a number of partners who are already committed to this. And it's what we're doing is the way we're connecting those customers with our partners is not only through social media campaigns, helping our customers be aware of that we have this initiative, but we through the customer cloud provider portal, customers can easily find those zero carbon committed partners, so they can connect with these partners and know that when they push their workloads to those partners, data centers and clouds, that they will automatically be achieving zero carbon committed because of those partners' commitment to energy efficiency and renewable energy powered clouds. So we think that that's a strong incentive for our partners, because we bring, you have a strong differentiator across for our customers in terms of their interest in achieving their own supplier sustainability goals. And through this portal, we can help them do that and find our partners that are committed to 100% renewable energy powered operations.
And we're seeing, sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
And we're seeing a lot of customers now, setting their sustainability goals, setting their strategies to, achieve their goals within a time frame. And that obviously means there's an impact on the whole supply chain. So if a customer, for example, is moving their workloads into a cloud provider, then they really become subject to whatever energy and sustainability strategy that cloud provider has. So the onus to manage that strategy then becomes sort of a cloud provider's problem if they're going to be starting to take customer workloads on.
Exactly. And to your point, this is a slide showing logos of companies, and just a small subset. There's probably almost 4,000 companies now that have committed to what are called science-based targets. And science-based targets is companies that are committing to net zero operations, not only in their own operations, but that of their supply chain. And as you can see, these are very large marquee companies. They're global, they're cross-sector, And this trend is growing very rapidly. And all of these companies are looking for their suppliers to provide low carbon, zero carbon solutions. So we believe that this is a strong competitive differentiation if you can offer that zero carbon service to your customers. And as we said, we're helping connect our customers who have those goals to our public cloud providers who can help them with their sustainability goals. And I think, Guy, if you want to talk about the recent 451 study that we did or that came out around this topic.
Yeah, I mean, we worked with 451 actually in, or where are we now, September 2022. So over the last couple of months, we've been working with them. They've been running an interesting kind of bit of research into the importance of, as you can see, efficiency, operational efficiency, power efficiency, and sustainability, like renewable energy sources in this case, in co-location. And the results of this are very, compelling. What we can see here is that 52% of customers feel that it's important, very important, for efficiency and sustainability to be within, the partner they're going to move to. And this is really part of that supply chain ripple as well, as customers are making their strategies and goals, as governments are incentivizing businesses to do so, then that kind of allocation of or onus to deliver that sustainability then gets pushed up the supply chain to wherever they use. And this is also one way that cloud providers can really incentivize customers to come onto their platform by helping them jump through what would otherwise be a very large hurdle to obtain that renewable energy sustainability footprint for their own data center. Come to a cloud provider, boom, we've got it already. And that's kind of what we're seeing here is, the importance now from a business standpoint that the providers and supply chain they're using has a sustainability capability and has commitments for renewable energy. And if you just go to the next slide, Nicola, I think there's another stat here. What are customers looking for in vendor attributes when selecting, an infrastructure or platform as a service provider? Obviously, brand is one, and we saw some of the the zero carbon committed partners there, some of the big hyperscaler clouds that you would know, Google, Amazon, Azure, etc. But then also big cloud providers in the VMware space like OVH and many others who are committed to zero carbon and have made those commitments to public commitments to power their cloud by 100% renewable energy by 2030. And this, you can see, is going to be one of the key things here: commitment to environmental, social, and governance outcomes, ESG. Depending where you are in the world, that can mean more on the governance side, it can mean more on the environmental side, or more on the social side. In the UK, we have something called social values, which kind of covers most of the ESG space. But certainly the environmental piece is what we're talking about here. It's about kind of trying to be sustainable, becoming net zero with carbon emissions, and looking after your national interest by doing so. And this report, by the way, if you just switch to the next slide, Nicola, is available to everyone on our website, which you can see there. It's the top left box in the resource section, the CSP Sustainability Challenge. And let's switch gears a bit now, because I think what we've seen is there's customer demand, there's a need, there's cloud providers who are starting to hopefully starting or on the way to having a strategy around renewable energy. It's really hard to do that though, and one of the things we want to talk about now is that to get a 100% renewable energy commitment and to make that publicly, there's a lot of things that need to happen, and you need to be looking at guarantees of origins, renewable energy certificates, all sorts of other things, depending where you are in the world, which is going to align to your commitment and your procurement model to getting that renewable energy done. So Nicola, we've just done some rather interesting training. And why don't you just tell people, a little bit about the training and what it covers that will really help a cloud provider understand what they need to do and then, go about doing it.
Yeah, that's right. So it's really a recognition that many companies have not started on this journey to set a renewable energy goal and to procure it. And it's not an easy journey, and it takes time. And so we thought that part of our Zero Carbon Committed initiative is to help our partners along that journey to get them started. So this training is really about why you should be thinking about setting a renewable energy goal, and then what it really takes to do that, to set the goal, to really understand, well, what is our energy footprint? How much renewable energy will we need? Where's our energy consumption around the world? How do we assess that? And how do we assess what the potential procurement options are for that amount of energy in those particular locations? So it is complicated, but there are many companies who have already started down this journey. We think it's an important one. I kind of liken it to back in the security days, when early 2000s, security really wasn't a thing. We started hearing about it like, oh, it's important. There were a few breaches here and there. And then all of a sudden, there were a lot of breaches, right? And all of a sudden, customers were like, you need to be able to provide security for us at every layer of the stack, right? And so everybody was scrambling to build and integrate security into their services. Well, we're starting to see the same thing with sustainability. Is customers now, they're getting pressures from their customers, as you were saying, Guy, from governments, incentives, and even investors and employees, et cetera, right? So we're seeing this very strong trend, and we don't want our partners to be caught unaware, right? Because this does take a little while to build those that commitment and then procure the renewable energy. So what we wanted to do with this training was to just kind of really start you on that road, give you an idea of what's involved, so it's not this complete mystery to you. And there's lots of resources beyond this training. So for example, we've partnered with the Clean Energy Buyers Association, of which VMware is a partner or a member. That association is a consortium of corporate buyers of renewable energy. There's also renewable energy providers, there's service providers, et cetera. So there's this whole community that is helping each other learn about setting goals, procuring renewable energy, partnering to do that. So we have a 6 months free membership with the Clean Energy Buyers Association for our public cloud partners to join, so that you can learn more about that. And so we recognize that it's beyond, this training is really just to give you a taste of what that journey looks like.
Yeah, I mean, the training comes in a number of bite-sized modules. So, we cover why set your renewable energy goals, greenhouse gas accounting, and that's really important for when you're looking at companies who are moving into your cloud, and how that greenhouse gas accountability then shifts to you. How to set renewable energy goals, introduction to types of new renewable energy there are maybe in your area, energy attribute certificates, which you're going to have to watch again and again and again, so you get it. Utility programs, on-site renewables, things called PPAs and VPAs. There's a lot to this, and then wrapping up with creating that procurement roadmap and the strategy and time frame, and communicating that through your organization and how to do that. So there's a number of nice bite-sized modules, 20 to 30 minutes each one. Really available to our cloud providers today, and the link is below for them to go and start watching and start learning. And as you mentioned, another great resource, CEBA, Clean Energy Buyers Alliance. So we have, through VMware, being a partner of CEBA, we have a free 6-month trial for our cloud providers to join CEBA, and hopefully after 6 months take up a full membership with CEBA directly. But again, we're trying to help cloud providers on this journey become hopefully one of our Zerocom committed partners. That would be great, and we can drive customers to you. but hopefully this training and things like CEBA and things like Zerocom committed will help amplify, the sustainability strategy and initiatives that our cloud providers hopefully will grow. And there's one more thing I think that's worth mentioning, another asset, which is quite a recent one, and that is our Zerocom committed calculator, but also this calculator is really a good indication of, what using a VMware technology like Cloud Director, which is really going to enable you to achieve those economies of scale without impacting your customer SLAs, and what that can mean to you and your customers from a sustainability perspective. How much tree offset would they and carbon offset would they generate using Cloud Director versus not using Cloud Director? A great tool for you to have a conversation with your customer, but also a great tool for you to look at your data center and how you can achieve better sustainability in your data center by using the Cloud Director technology from VMware.
Yeah, and Guy, that's a really good point, because not only is for zero carbon committed, are we talking about the renewable energy powered operations, right? But we're also talking about the energy efficiency side. So zero carbon committed partners, to qualify, are using the full stack of VMware's virtualized compute, storage, and networking. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a cloud verified partner. And so that maximizes the efficiency of the productivity of the infrastructure. And what Guy's talking about with the calculator is how you actually can see how to ramp that up to maximize the workload density of your infrastructure, which saves you money, it gives you better margins, as well as reduces that infrastructure footprint of the customer's workloads running on your infrastructure, and therefore the energy and carbon reduction as well. So we think it's a good package. And one thing to add on, Guy, you mentioned earlier about the carbon accounting, which is really interesting, because even if you're not thinking about a renewable energy goal, your customers are probably, if they're not already, going to start asking you for what is the carbon footprint of using your services. So because your customers are going to need it for their own carbon reporting. And so you're going to even need to understand how to calculate that carbon footprint for each of your customers, because that's probably the first thing you'll start seeing from them, as well as an interest in renewable energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing more commitments to renewable energy being included in bids and RFIs as 100% requirements or a weighted requirement. But like you say, there are companies out there now that are asking for specific metrics around cloud carbon consumption and understanding that. So it's really important that our cloud providers take all this in, looking to a future 5-10 years away. This is going to become much more important. Hopefully the tooling that we talked about today will give our cloud providers a good baseline in understanding how to set a strategy, how to use the calculators, how to potentially become a ZCC partner. All these great things that we've put in place, like CEBA as well. So I think we've got a quite nice kind of portfolio going here, Nicola. We seem to be growing all the time, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So we hope you can join us, take advantage of these resources, and we're here to help. So we're available if you want to reach out to us. We can provide you with connections, more education. So let us know.
Absolutely, and then use your email address below for contacting us, please. Nicola, thank you so much for coming on board today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you again. And thank you so much also for all your involvement in this training and adding kind of your knowledge to it as well. You've been absolutely fantastic in that. So thank you again.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.